Welcome to the Signifying Donkey Show, ladies and gentlemen. I have one of my favorite people here today, Torrie. How are you?
Good, thank you.
Co-host of the show. Torrie, we were discussing Project 2025 this week. I know we mentioned it in a previous episode, but we decided to come back and talk about it in more detail. So you told me some interesting things. Why don't you go over some of the things about Project 2025 that our audience may not know?
Perfect. Thank you, Malcolm. First, I want to quote Maya Angelou. The first time someone shows you who they are, believe them. And I think we had 4 years of somebody showing us who they were. So, I mean, and really more than that, if you look at the Republican Party. But this is 2025 project is created by the Heritage Foundation, which has been involved in Republican politics for 50 years. And it was a normal think tank before Trump. Since 1981, they've published a book called Mandate for Leadership, A Conservative Promise. And in April 2023, the 9th version was released, and they call it the Policy Bible. Nearly half of projects collaborating with Heritage Fund have received dark money from Leonard Leo. Do you remember that name, Malcolm?
It rings a bell.
Took Supreme Court Justice Clarence Thomas on a lot of trips. His buddy.
Oh, that's where that, I remember the summer. Yep.
Interesting. Okay, the book is 30 chapters, 920 pages. I'm not reading that. A quick, there's 6 things. Abortion, totally against. They should ban the pill. Even not by state, but national. They promote modern fertility awareness.
Wait up. So you're moving fast. So not just abortion, but contraception as well would be banned.
No, the abortion pill.
Oh, the abortion pill. I'm sorry. Thank you for clarifying.
Yeah, sorry. But kind of, because they promote modern fertility awareness, which is tracking your period, which is not successful. So they really don't believe in contraception.
Whoa. Time out. Tracking your period? What does that mean?
So as a woman, you know when you ovulate based on when you have your period.
Right.
But a woman can ovulate more than one time a month. And so it's not a great tracking source. It's better to have contraception that's 99% as opposed to this. It's probably like 50%. I don't know, but I'm guessing. It's not great. More women will be pregnant.
Is that the point?
Yes, that's the point.
Okay.
Yep.
I'm sorry.
The census right now, they count the whole number of persons in each state. They want to change that to American citizens, which would completely change the geography of the Senate and the Congress, right? If you're not counting people who are here not legally. You know what I mean?
Well, I mean, just talking to you about that right now, I'm imagining there's a large percent of the country that's not going to push back on that. So,
yeah.
Anyway, I don't want to spend too much time on each individual issue because that's really something we probably should deal in more when we discuss immigration policy. Right. So I'm sorry, I keep interrupting.
No, I love it. That's what you're supposed to do. Climate policy is done. The federal government has the obligation to develop vast oil and gas and coal resources. They're rolling back everything Biden's done. You don't get credit for buying an electric car. None of that. Okay, 3 more. Expansion of presidential powers. The president is in charge. This is what they want. The president is in charge of the Department of Justice, Federal Communications Commission, and Federal Trade Commission. Because of Article 2 of the Constitution, it vests executive power solely in the president, and they call it unitary executive theory. So what that means is the Justice Department is gone, so he can say, Torrie talked negatively about me. I want her in jail. There I go.
Are we going to jail if Trump gets? Like, I hate to tell you this, but if we don't want to go to jail, if that's something that you and I are afraid of, we need to shut this show down now, because even though we're kind of in the middle and moderate with a lot of our stuff,
Right.
we continue to do this show during a second Trump presidency. He would target people like us.
Yes. And the Federal Communications Commission, that's TV. So bye-bye MSNBC. He's already been talking about that. Federal Trade Commission. I mean, that's just about money. Money, money, money. Two more. LGBTQ rights removed completely. You have no specific rights. Last one.
No same-sex marriage. Let's be specific on that one.
Yeah.
So same-sex marriage would go. I thought the Supreme Court codified same-sex marriage.
So it's not the marriage part, it's a discrimination part.
Okay.
So they take away any rights you have against discrimination.
And again, for the audience, this is pride, because it was blowing my mind about this is I'd never heard of Project. And that's what I gotta give the conservatives credit on some of this stuff they're doing. They've been very stealth and very good about flying below the radar so that the average ignorant American that doesn't know how the government works and the three branches of government, and that the Federal Reserve is Joe Biden has no control over that. You'd be surprised. Most citizens don't know these basic facts about our government.
100%, which is why they can put it in writing. They're not even afraid to do that.
Yeah, they're telling you what they're going to do.
Yeah, they're telling you what they're going to do. Okay, the last one.
2025. We're at the next, my lady.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Malcolm and I were talking about this earlier. Personnel. So first of all, you must answer a questionnaire to screen recruits for their adherence to the project's agenda, which means Trump. And they plan on having 20,000 personnel in a database by the end of 2024 to replace federal workers in the DOJ, Department of Justice, EPA.
Let me translate that, because that sounded really sophisticated the way you just said that. My translation of that is, I live in the DMV. We both do. Right. You live in Virginia. I live in Maryland.
Right.
I lived in DC a year ago, so I've lived in all three parts of the DMV. What they're basically saying right there, you said it in a really articulate way, but as we speak, there are conservatives moving into the DMV area so that they can replace all the liberals that have been living here probably their whole life or a long period of time, that have been working for the federal government, for the Justice Department. Specifically, Trump's going to fire everyone that's not loyal to. Is there a loyalty pledge involved with this as well?
It's a questionnaire, yeah. Mm-hmm. If they don't pass the questionnaire, then they're gone.
Let's time out on this. I know we are running up on time here, but let me ask you a question.
We got plenty of time.
How are you and your husband are going to function in this America? How are you envisioning yourself and your family and your household functioning in this America that you're describing?
We won't. We will move. I cannot do another 4 years. I can't.
When you say we will move, what do you mean we will? I mean, I know you're probably going to keep your citizenship. You're not crazy, because you deserve to
right.
keep that.
Because it won't last.
You say we will move, where will you go?
We're thinking Costa Rica.
No, I'm sorry. Oh, okay, just outside the country.
Outside the country.
Tell your business per se.
Yeah.
But outside the country.
Because I know that if this does happen and Trump becomes, a dictator, A, he's going to die. He's too old. But B, it's not going to last. It didn't last in Germany. It didn't last in Italy. It hasn't lasted in Cambodia. I mean,
and so you'll come back. Your plan is to come back once the fascism experiment is fails.
Yes.
That's you know what? I have the same plan. And I know we haven't, I'm amazed that we're discussing this on the show. I like the fact we got to be loosey-goosey. I don't want to be too stiff on the show where we have our strict, format and our strict, agenda. But my plan is to sprechen Sie Deutsch. I will move my operations to Germany, and I have friends in Germany. We went to high school in Germany. We both know people that still live there. So I'm assuming I'd be able to get a work visa and, do it legally. But I would go relocate to Germany until, democracy is restored. And if it's never restored, guten Tag.
Sprechen Sie Deutsch.
Guten Tag, meine Freunde. It's either this.
We can.
That's where my mindset is. I'm not gonna get crazy over this. I'm not gonna get let it mess with my psychology. Like I love. We both have said, hey, if this really happens, and this heavy stuff, then I guess we both gonna have to bust a move, huh?
Yeah, that's a move. I guess I want to stress here that this is not hyperbole. Again, back to the quote: if they tell you who they are, believe them. When people start, we just had Thanksgiving, obviously, we're gearing up for Christmas. When people start talking about inflation and gas prices and stuff like that, you're going to tell your kids you were more worried about gas prices than you were about saving your democracy. We are literally on the edge of saving our democracy. And I don't mean to be dramatic, but when you reach down into this, it's scary.
Here's my thing, and this is just us on this Saturday. We're going to be the voice of reason for the American people. There's two sides to this coin. I love your cup.
Thank you.
Hold it up again. And I love your sweatshirt. The merchandising piece of this is gonna take off. But for right now, we're giving away a lot of free gear for promotional purposes, but we're gonna start selling it here soon, and we're gonna make some good money off our gear. So there's two sides to this coin.
Right.
Okay. And on one hand, if Trump wins, then we realize now that everything that we've ever known will change dramatically. And the other side of it is, if Joe Biden wins, and I appreciate your husband, Tommy. He left a comment in one of I think it was the last show, and he educated me about the fact that, because I was, griping and whining about Joe Biden should step aside, because I don't like how sterile he's been through this whole Israeli Hamas situation. He just hasn't shown me the type of leadership. It's been too much politics, Joe, and not enough leadership, Joe. But what other option do we have if Trump scares the hell out of you? It's not like Tommy told me. He's like, it's too late. It's too late to get other people on the ballot in a lot of the different primaries. And once he brought that to my attention, I was like, wow, we're stuck with Joe.
Yeah.
So,
but I mean, stuck with Joe. So, and the funny thing in all of this is that Trump is just one person, right? He's not behind any of this. They just got lucky when they got candidate Trump. They've been looking for candidate Trump for 50 years. Yeah. Somebody that people en masse go behind, occult-ish thinking. And so, it's really not about Trump. It's just using him as a means to the end.
Well, can Trump win? Yes, absolutely he can win, because I think if we, and again, I know we're running up on time, but just to wrap this up and kind of, connect the dots between Project 2025 and next year's election, he can win, in the way that he won once because, Hillary Clinton was a flawed candidate. They used the Benghazi investigation the same way they're trying to use the Joe Biden impeachment hearing is a joke. It's just embarrassing them. I don't, I think they needed something miraculous, just like it took something miraculous to get Trump the hell out of there, which was COVID.
Right.
they needed something miraculous to change the winds for Joe, because Joe, people are still paying a lot for a lot of things, so they're not happy with Joe's economy. But he let the Fed raise interest rates incrementally. Yeah, mortgages are a little more expensive right now, but you brought up the point in the previous show, they're not as expensive as they have been in previous years.
Yeah. They're absolutely an average. They're on average.
Yep, right now. But the way that the Republican Party is going to spin it is under Joe Biden's economy. Interest rates are sky high. I noticed I saw some commercials. I see these commercials on a regular basis
don't let the Fed's raising interest rates. And these are commercials designed to make you think that Joe Biden is raising it. Because they say don't allow it to happen, do something. There's no mechanism in place for us to call the Fed or write the Fed or email the Fed and say, could you lower interest rates, please? But I see these commercials all the time, and it kind of attaches the interest rates to Joe Biden.
Yes.
So all of these tricks are nice and they could work. Trump could win. But here's my whole thing. Here's my whole point. There's more women in this country than there are men. And that biological fact is not going to change in the next 12 months. Women are pissed. And you see it in every local election. You see it in every mandate where they put it on the ballot of whether or not they're going to say, we're going to protect women's rights in the state constitution. And even in the most conservative states, I guess you could say not just women, but men and women are protecting women's rights. So we're not going to debate abortion or contraception today. What I see is it's not about where you are on that issue. And whether you're a Republican woman or a woman that's a Democrat, it's about my body. So are they going to vote? I think a lot of women that voted for Trump because they hated Hillary, or maybe they weren't ready for a female president, or whatever the psychology was. I don't know if that's going to be enough. And I think taking down Roe is what's going to be what undermines, I'm hoping, Project 2025.
I sincerely hope so. I just want our audience to take it seriously and talk about it with your friends. Bring it up. Show some light on this. The media is doing an okay job, but I think that it needs to be more grassroots, like sitting down at the table. That's a kitchen table topic. Hey, are you aware of this? You cool with that? Okay. I got a question for you.
I think you just identified something. What's that?
Yeah, go ahead.
I think you just identified something that's probably part of the problem in our country and in our world is people don't talk anymore. People text. And then I noticed that a lot of people would vent about politics on social media, but I don't know if it's because social media started to ban people and block people for saying things that I got blocked one time and banned on Facebook for 10 days because they said I used hate speech. So I'm not going to get into what I said because it's irrelevant. But it was something where I was basically making an honest critique of our country, and not just our country, of our government. And that's one of my pet peeves. When someone on the left criticizes the government, you hate America. You're not patriotic. When someone on the right criticizes the government, they love America.
Yes. Don't even get me started on flag.
Contradictions and double standards. So anyway, I think one of the things that we have to do before we wrap up the show is our winner of the week, our signifying donkey winner of the week. Who's yours?
Okay. Mine is New York's 3rd congressional district with roughly 1 million people, because they no longer have Doofus Head as a congressional. He got voted out. And the vote was 311 to 114.
Oh, wow. I'm glad you mentioned that because I normally don't do shameless plugs, but Vladimir Putin joined the show. Oh, actually, he didn't join the show. He couldn't make it today. So he called me earlier. So I decided to do a short. He's a big fan of our show. So I decided to do a short. And what I do is, because we have a classified relationship, I just kind of do an impersonation and repeat what he told me, because he can't be seen telling the public, in public, saying what we talk about. He has to keep that private. Okay. Because obviously I'm not on his side, but he shares information with me. But anyway, my signifying winner of the week is Hill Harper. My man's in them. I love what happened. Yeah, I've been doing a lot of research since we started doing this show, stuff that the average American would never come across, stuff that I would have never come across. if I wasn't trying to prepare and look for information so that I could be prepared when we discuss certain topics. And when I found out this week that he was offered $20 million, $20 million.
That's a lot of money.
To run against Representative Tlaib, the only Palestinian in Congress who's been censored because of her choice of words. But 20 million, he was offered 20 million. And so I don't know how much money he has from acting. I do know he has a law degree. I'm a fan. I told you I'm a big fan of his. And I knew this because I was a fan. I was just always impressed whenever I heard him speak in public. But, you know, he has a law degree, I believe, from Harvard.
Wow.
And
I didn't know that.
Yeah. It ended up going into acting and now into politics. And it's not obviously not, you know, speaking of George Santos, it's obviously not a money grab on his part because he turned down the 20 million and clearly they wanted, you know, Sister Tlaib gone. And they figured that, you know, a celebrity with the name brand recognition, he might, but what they don't, you know, what the people, and I'm not, you see, notice I'm being very careful not to call anybody out who offered him that money. You know, people can do their research and find that out because I don't want this show ever to be accused of taking a side. But, you know, he turned that money down. And I think it's because, you know, where Palestine and Hamas is concerned, he's one of the people that was in favor of a ceasefire.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so now that's what that issue is boiling down to from a political standpoint for a lot of people. Are you in favor of a ceasefire or pause? You know, pauses in Israel's best interest, ceasefires in Palestinians' best interest. So we'll tackle that at a different time. But my winner of the week is Hill Harper because he turned down 20 mil. You know, that's
unreal.
Admirable.
And he's talking about it. You know, he's not hiding it. We're actually talking.
He's in effect a whistleblower. He said, "Okay, well, since I turned the money down, I can snitch. And I'm not dry snitch. I'm wet snitching. I'm telling everybody. I'm telling who they was." So I love it. I love it. Well, Torrie,
awesome.
We made it through this episode. This was a rough one because, you know, we're talking about stuff that people are going to be like, no, I don't even believe that. They're making that up. That can't be true. Well, but hey, there's the internet. You got a phone. Do it. Search. Check yourself. Project 2025. If Donald Trump wins for at least 4 years, there'll be no law and order in the United States of America. So
correct.
God bless America.
Vote.
And like Torrie said, vote. Please vote. Have a good day, everyone.
So many questions, but very few answers. Will I die from a bullet or will I die from cancer? Hate this life I live. How much more can I give? It hurt what you did. Now you ask me to forgive? While mom collapsed in a foyer, the day I got her home, she died in my arms and left me all alone. The pain almost destroyed me, so I turned to the bottle. Had to get it together for Malachi. He needed me to be a father. Why did people just move on after Big and Pac got shot? I was inspired to write this song because the track came out so hot. Why Puff ain't take a bullet? Why Suge's still alive? Why the label make more money when talented rappers die? Why I used to drink so much or feel compelled to get high? Cause most people are stressing me when they should really be on my side. Why do we avoid clean energy when gas prices are high? Because oil's thicker than blood, so I'm barely getting by. Why is the Second Amendment more important than gun control? Because Americans care more about bearing arms and birth control. Why are we building walls when we need to build a bridge? We only care about ourselves, we're like selfish little kids. So many questions, but very few answers. Will I die from a bullet or will I die from cancer?